your show has ruined me forever. I cannot go to the bathroom without thinking of Greg Cote. And I'm like, join the club.
This is the Greg Cote Show with Greg Cote.
Pardon it.
Here's your host, Greg Cote.
Can we start? It's cold.
Poor Christopher is in Montreal, which is the land of a million Cotes or Cotes. Have you run into anybody else with our surname?
No, but the lady at the Air Canada, when I was checking into my flight, she saw my name and was like, "Oh, you," because I was like, "Man, I'm not ready for this cold." She's like, "Your name's Cote. Like, you've got to be used to it." I'm like, "You'd be surprised. Of all the Cotes in the world, I think I've been in the snow the least."
Right.
But I want to do something special here for our YouTube audience. You know, I'm going to do a big reveal right here because, like, you know, it's like he's standing in front of a brick wall. He might not really actually be in Canada. This is a car completely covered in snow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Except the front grill.
Apparently Montreal had not gotten a lot of snow in recent weeks, but like the day before we got here, it just shit snow. So there's like a big mountain of snow.
And is it as cold as it looks? Because it looks like it's like 55 degrees below zero.
It is, I believe, 13 degrees right now.
Okay.
It's one of those things, honestly, it's one of those things where when it's not windy, it's doable. Like, it's not terrible. But when the wind jacks up, it is just like, I hate my life. Why did I come here?
Right.
Like, I don't know how people do this. I know I'm a South Florida person, and this is just going to be a weird rant, but this is like, I don't like walking in snow. Like, this is, I don't know why people do this. Like, I would never, like, I'm surprised more people don't come to Florida.
Yeah. It actually looks like a beautiful day, though. I mean, in terms of like the blue sky and the clouds and everything.
Yeah. No. And then when you're in the sun, it's nice. Like right now, I'm not in the sun and it's windy, so I'm really cold at the moment. But yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about why you're there for a second. You're in Montreal. You just saw the U.S. clobber Finland 6-1 in the Four Nations Face-Off tournament, which has put a pause on the NHL regular season to play this Four Nations tournament. And it was so strange for me watching on TV, seeing first star of the game Matthew Tkachuk making his Panthers teammate Alexander Barkov of Finland so sad. It was just weird seeing them on opposite teams. What was the experience like for you watching that in the arena?
It was amazing. You got to see Brady Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk on the ice together for the first time. Brady Tkachuk calling this tournament the biggest games of his career because he's played for the Ottawa Senators and hasn't played a big game with them. Right. So, but like, this is legit. It's replacing the All-Star game. I think the NBA could take a note from it. You know, you set France up and Spain. Like you could do what you could do in the NBA, what NHL is doing. And these guys are treating this like a World Cup. It is intense. Like, and we called it, me and my friends here, we were like, Matthew Tkachuk is going to go after on Finland last night. Like there's 4 Panthers on Finland. And we were like, at one point he's going to give a little elbow to somebody who's on the Panthers just to be like, hey, this is for real. And he did. We saw him get into it with Mikkola. He got into it with Barkov a little bit. Nothing like aggressive or crazy, but just little like hockey jabs. But yes, the atmosphere was crazy. It's going to be times 10 tomorrow night. Well, when we're recording this, Saturday is USA Canada, and it is going to be epic. Like the vibes last night, like it was basically last night in the arena, USA fans versus Canada fans, even though we were playing Finland. Like it is
right.
The rivalry is USA Canada. Like we're not getting into arguments with any Finland fans.
Are you going to be at that game at USA Canada? Nice.
Yes, I'll be there.
Who was the crowd for? And the reason I ask you that is that
not USA. Not
USA.
I
was going to say Canadians lately have been booing the national anthem related to Trump's tariffs, including Canada. And so it was a hostile crowd for you and Mike Ryan and whoever else was there.
Look, I don't want to get into politics here, but if you're rooting for Team USA in this tournament, I feel like a Trump supporter. Like I'm telling you, the way I'm received, like when we stand up and do USA chants, it's like palpable boos instantly. Like it's
that's great.
It's awkward. Like but like when you talk to all of them, sorry if it's windy and loud here. There's literally one of those, the mower guy. What's it called? The snow mover? Going by right
snowblower.
now. Whatever. You can see it. There he is.
We can see it.
Anyways, what was I just saying?
You're talking about the crowds and
but just
feeling like a Trump supporter.
Yes, it was really awkward. And but what I was going to say is, if you talk to like all the Canadian people, it's super nice. Like if you talk to them one-on-one, even the ones wearing Canada jerseys, like your interaction's super nice. But then like once you start chanting USA, they're going to boo you.
Yeah. Their whole mantra is, you stay out of my way, I'll stay out of yours. Yeah.
I mean, you do. There is the commonality of everybody being a huge hockey fan, right? Like even if you're booing the other team, you're still, you have that hockey brotherhood.
And there's respect for this Hockey USA team. Like this is the deepest team USA Hockey has put out. Like we are legit favorite. Like we're one of the like I think it's between us and Canada as like what people are expecting to make the final here. And after they won their first 2 games, so it's looking like it's going to be Canada USA in the final. But the round robin game on Saturday is going to be epic. Even though when people are listening to this, it already happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get back with you to wrap it up after that game or something if we can.
I'm so cold though. Like, how much longer do you need me?
I need you a little bit longer because I want to thrill you with a top 5 before we leave hockey. I don't even know how much you know this, but Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, I am officially entering them into the conversation right now. They're in the conversation for greatest siblings in sports history, okay? Hear me out. Matthew already has 240 career goals. Brady Tkachuk is coming up on 200. They're both young. They're both entering their prime. And so before they're done, they're going to be considered 2 of the greats. So here is my current top 5 of all-time siblings in sports, okay?
Oh my God, I'm so cold.
Okay, you just tough it out. Okay, this is OLI, Seth and Steph Curry. OLI, Mark and Pau Gasol.
Look at you just stealing OLI from the Levitard Show.
OLI, Hank and Tommy Aaron. The Aarons, by the way, had a combined 768 career home runs, of which Tommy contributed 13.
This makes me. This reminds me of the fact that LeBron James and Bronny James are the highest scoring father-son duo in NBA history. But I believe Bronny James has 4 career points. So like it's just because LeBron is an all-time scorer that they're a duo for all time.
That's funny. That's
why Seth and Steph are on this list.
All right, Greg, you got your top 5. Let me get my fanfare ready. Go for it.
Okay, number 5. Oh, I was listening for fanfare.
We didn't hear you say we only heard you say number 5.
It comes after you say number 5. You done?
Okay, number 5.
Dad, say what number 5 is.
Number 5, JJ and TJ Watt.
Wow, that was just epic. That was epic.
Number 4, Travis and Jason Kelsey.
Brad.
Number 3, Phil and Tony Esposito.
Brad.
Number 2, Peyton and Eli Manning.
Brad.
And number 1, Serena and Venus Williams.
Brad.
How about that? Okay, Christopher, you're freezing to death. Before I let you go, I have to tell you, you apparently are married to a saint, because here's why. We are recording this first part of the episode on Valentine's Day, right? My wife, your mother, would look askance if I told her, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm going to miss Valentine's Day this year because I'm going on a boys' trip, a hockey trip. I don't think she'd smile upon that. So how did you get away with it?
My wife is the best. I mean, God, and why did I not find this little empty room that is fully warm?
Oh, wow.
I could have still done all the snow bit. Like, It's still right here. There's the car that's completely filled. Like, I am an idiot. I just stood outside in 13 degrees. Anyways, I have the best wife ever. What I've learned in marriage is that if you plan something far enough in advance, you usually can do it. So I booked this way in advance before I even realized it was Valentine's Day, honestly. So, we don't really do big for Valentine's Day anyways. We did it a day early. I sent her flowers and strawberries to work today on Valentine's Day. So, I did my thing.
Okay. And Yeti, I want you to reveal your romantic side by letting us know what your plans are for Valentine's Day.
I am also alone on Valentine's. My wife went to chaperone the All-State chorus for the girls at the All-State chorus. So she is in Athens. So I'm kind of all alone right now.
Okay.
Although as soon as we're finished recording, I'm trying to rush over to Athens to surprise her as soon as we're finished recording.
That's what I was going to say. We could talk about it because this comes out after. Like, you're rushing over to do a surprise, honey.
Yeah, do like a little.
That's nice.
Go to our little chocolate shop, get some hot chocolate.
Nice.
But
all right. Well, Greg Cote is favoring his lovely bride with stone crabs and champagne. We are staying in tonight. We are not going out. I sent her flowers today, and my special gift to her is I ordered her a dozen Oreo cookies with her face on the cookie.
Oh, so you just stole the Izzy bit that he did for you.
Yes, I did. Blatantly. I told Izzy when he showed me his cookies in the studio with my face on them, I told Izzy, I am blatantly stealing this idea, and I already had the picture of your mother in mind when she's like 6 years old. It was the face I fell in love with.
Those things are obviously
You fell in love with a 6-year-old?
Yeah, what's happening?
That's right. We waited a long time to have kids. Okay.
Dad, you didn't get mom like a happy 39th Valentine's Day together banner?
No, I didn't, but she loved that banner. You can make fun of that banner all you want. She freaking loved it.
No, I know how much you think she loved it. I know.
Okay.
She loves a card. Why wouldn't she love a banner?
That's true. I did get her a couple of cards as well.
You remember when she joined the show and you asked her how much she loves a card, Chris? And she said, I rank it a 10. Yeah.
Yeah. But she was just saying that.
No, she wasn't. She loves a card. Before we get to dad jokes, 3 facts, Jack, and a gripe. And by the way,
I'm not staying for that.
Why?
I gotta go.
Dad jokes are suspended.
Yes,
I know, but we have one special dad joke, and I'll tell you why. But before we get to that, just one quick thing: the International Herb Association has named its 2025 Herb of the Year. And it is no, I'm serious. It's a real thing.
Is this a fact, Jack? Like, what are we doing?
The 2025.
Where did this come from?
The 2025 Herb of the Year is chamomile, probably best known as a flavor of tea, right? Odd choice. So the Greg Cote Show today is announcing its own better pick for 2025 Herb of the Year. Are you ready? Do an imaginary drum roll. The Greg Cote Show 2025 Herb of the Year is Herb Alpert, the legendary trumpet player and pianist. Herb Alpert turns 90 next month. This blew my mind. He turns 90 next month, and he continues to tour with his backup band, the Tijuana Brass.
I didn't know they were still touring. I love Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. I have 8 of their albums.
I just decided I need a top 20 once a week for the next 20 weeks. I need Greg Cote's top 20 herbs of all time. It can be an actual guy named Herb. It could be herbs that you cook with.
You got it. Could be herbs I smoked back in the day.
Right. Like I want, and I don't know where this guy will fall in it. Maybe you can reveal that later. But next week, I want you to have number 20, and we will build up to number 1 20 weeks from now.
Okay. Look at Yeti throwing out his bona fides.
Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, whipped cream and other delights. I've got
that.
I've got 6 or 7 other. You can't forget this album, Greg.
Can I leave while you guys herb each other off?
Before you leave,
just let me leave.
Okay, can you wait just a second? This is one more quick thing because I want you to. No. This is one more quick thing because I want you to enjoy it. Okay. I was telling Yeti recently the time several years ago, pre-podcast, when the entire crowd at a Dolphins home game started chanting my name. Okay, because I had been shown in the press box on the Jumbotron, and all of a sudden this huge chant broke out, and Yeti managed to track down the audio, so I want you to hear it. Christopher, I don't think you've ever heard this.
Let's Greg Cote! Let's
That's crazy. There were like 70,000 people chanting this.
And somehow Yeti was leading the orchestra.
I mean, I have to admit, the first time I heard the playback, it did sound like the person closest to the mic might have been Yeti or something.
I think I think what Yeti did was a classic Yeti move. We had that audio from the stadium, and Yeti just wanted to get in it. So he edited himself in there just to put himself in it. But really, I can't believe that. I don't remember that. That's crazy that happened.
I know. No, that was unusual. Anyway, Christopher, you need to go.
He's totally playing that tonight after dinner.
See
you guys.
Stay warm. Love you. I want to do an illegal dad joke real quick, and I'll tell you why. And Christopher's not here because he had frostbite. He had to leave the premises. So he's shivering.
Bail, so
yeah, he had to bail. He's shivering somewhere in Montreal. The reason I'm doing a one illegal dad joke, which is suspended for February, and I respect that, but my friend Nina from Arizona, Nina, I know you listen every week. Thank you again. She sent me a gift box that included naughty dad jokes. Okay. Many of them are not suitable for air, but this one is sort of mild, so I'm gonna tell you. What do you call someone who lies about having a lot of sex?
Greg Cote?
A nymph phony.
Ah.
A nymph phony.
All right.
3 facts, Jack.
There are 3 things that interest him, so sit right back for 3 facts, Jack.
Number 3. France did not discontinue beheading by guillotine as capital punishment until 1977.
Wow. That would be... Oh, in today's context, that would be so weird to stumble upon.
That is incredible, though.
Yeah.
Like I was in my early to mid 20s, and they were still beheading people.
I wonder if that was like in a public square as well, or if it was at the prison.
That's crazy. Wow. That blew my mind. Number 2, Catholic doctrine does not allow the Pope to be an organ donor. Number 1, I like this one as well. Ancient Romans used urine as a cleaning agent for laundry.
Okay.
I wonder what the element there, like, how does that make any logic? Is there something in urine that would clean a stain out of pants?
Some of the acids in it, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
But on the Pope organ donor thing, I don't know enough about Catholic doctrine to comment on that part. But organ donation in itself is a tricky business as well. When Dad was passing, they talked to us about organ donor because he hadn't selected, and so they were talking to us about organ donation, saying like it's actually really low odds that you can use the organs. Like they have to kind of
really.
When they pull the plug, they have to do manual chest compressions to keep the blood flowing, because you only have a certain amount of time after that blood stops to be able to harvest the organs and things like that. And
wow.
We ultimately, Mom and I guess it was probably all of us, but opted to not do it, do the donation. But we would not have been able to be there as they pulled the plug, so to speak, as he passed.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm glad we were able to be there as he transitioned.
Yeah.
I don't know how good his organs would have been anyway. He was in such poor health, but you know.
Yeah. I didn't even give a thought to how complicated organ donation was.
Like, so if someone were to die in their sleep, I don't think you can harvest their organs because you usually aren't going to find them until hours later.
And does that apply to all organs throughout the body? Because I know you can donate eyes.
Yeah,
you can
eyes might have a longer shelf life. You know, not to be too crude with it, but
right. Interesting.
I don't know.
Before I do my gripe of wrath, you were telling me something the other day. I want you to expound on. It involved your mother criticizing one of my bathroom habits or something? What?
My mom has a gripe with you.
What?
I talked to her just yesterday. I did not know she had started listening to the show. I don't know how long she's been listening or how she stumbled across this episode that is over 2 years old, but she's just now bringing it up to me. She said, Gregory, your show has ruined me forever. I cannot go to the bathroom without thinking of Greg Cote. And I'm like, join the club. But
you're welcome. Thank you.
But like, I was like, are you talking about the credit card swipe thing? And she says, please tell me he doesn't only wash his hands when there's no toilet paper. And so let's take a trip back down, or let's get into the time, or the Greg Cote Wayback Machine.
Okay.
And revisit what she's talking about.
All right.
Let's take a trip down memory lane in Greg Cote's Wayback Machine.
Back in it.
The visual you've created is you using your hand like a like the way you would like tomahawk chop.
Right.
And you like swipe your ass like a credit card.
And that's when you use the soap.
Oh my gosh.
No, and a lot of
Greg,
it.
you have to be lying.
There. We have to stop there. That's just...
Tell me you're lying. Greg!
He's like, it was college. I was 68 years old.
I didn't elect to go into a bathroom with no toilet paper. You know, you take evasive action.
Just
when confronted with calamity.
How far from your house were you?
That's true. That's an emergency situation.
When confronted with calamity, do you deal with it?
No, it's, you have to. I do remember that now. I'd forgotten.
Oh, gosh.
Because I know I've done that out in the wild a couple of times, like on a camping trip or something.
There are leaves. I've had to use leaves once. Hated it.
I know. But the leaves are scratchy. They're rough.
But it was better than going barehanded.
Well, it could be poison ivy as well. No, but that's why God invented soap. So just for that, soap was invented to wash your hands after you have your own excrement all over them. Now, speaking of gripes, your mother's gripe about me was valid. That's a good gripe. But it needs the context of in emergency, like break glass in case of emergency, wipe ass in case of emergency.
I think she's more concerned with, is that really the only time you're washing your hands, Greg, after going to the bathroom? Okay. And I did tell her, I said, there's some theater of the mind, but you never know with Greg Cote.
That's true. That's true. Is it real or is it Memorex? Gripe of wrath.
Annoyances, complaints. Greg's got grievances out the ass, so buckle up, Buttercup. It's time for Greg Cote's Gripes of Wrath.
Okay. We're fortunate to have listeners from all over the country. I don't know whether restaurants in your area do this, but it's definitely an epidemic, a growing epidemic in South Florida. Absurdly large portions forced upon you in a restaurant. Okay, it's a sad trend. It's one that is unhealthy, costly, unnecessary, and dare say unwanted. We haunt this little Italian place in our area. Great atmosphere, good food. Love our favorite waiter, Pablo. This is not against you personally, Pablo, but the portions. You order a chicken parm there, and it's literally too big for the plate. I'm not even exaggerating. It dips over the sides of the plate. People ask for and this isn't an exaggeration. People ask for a to-go box before they even start the meal because they know they're going to have to take some home. The leftovers, end up in the back of the fridge. You forget about them. They end up being thrown away. It's such a waste. Dear restaurants, I'm not ordering a last meal in prison here. I'm not in an eating competition. How about you cut the portion in half and lop off 40% off the price? Still a net bargain for you and better health-wise for me. Win-win. Smaller portions.
I'm with you on that, man. We,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Jane and I went to the Olive Garden a couple months ago. First time in a long time. And we played it smart though. We because I mean it's not even just the size, but like 3,000 calories for a meal.
Yeah,
like that's a lot. That's a whole lot. But so what we did, we ordered an appetizer, and then just shared a plate, and it was perfect. We were full. Right. We weren't sick, and cut our bill down quite a bit. We still got a slice of cheesecake to go. It was nice. It was a nice way to do it. But you're right.
Yeah.
There's no reason for the portions to be that huge.
It's ridiculous.
Anywhere.
It's. And I threatened to buy a restaurant just so I can instigate smaller portions, smaller prices. I think that would actually be a good theme, a selling theme. Smaller portions, smaller prices. I think that would work.
You never know.
Let's put a bow on this portion of the segment, and then we're going to come back with more Christopher. Unless he's frozen, entombed in ice, we're going to speak to him one more time from Montreal. That kind of thing, so forth and so on. So maybe here he is. I don't know. Okay, we're joined again. It's early Sunday evening. We're joined again by Christopher. And am I the only one who still calls you Christopher? I don't think I've asked you that lately.
You and Mom.
Okay, but mostly me. You're welcome.
I am. I'm back home, back in the warm. My voice is gone. My voice is gone after being at USA Canada on Saturday.
I know. Is that alcohol voice or is that weather voice? What is that?
No, that's shouting voice. That's shouting at USA Canada, shouting at USA Finland, and singing, and then singing with the boys all weekend. Just Mike Ryan playing music on a Touch Tunes, and me and the boys just belting out songs all night.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Give me an example of what one of the songs was.
You're a rich girl. And you don't need one, and it don't matter anyway.
All right.
You can rely on your old man's money. You can rely on your old man's money. You're a rich girl.
Okay. Hall & Oates. Mostly Hall, very little Oates. But we love that song.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot breathe. I cannot sleep tonight.
Okay, I don't know that song. Okay, I don't know that song. I'm at a bar. Your mother and I are in a bar watching the game, the U.S.-Canada game. I still can't wrap my mind around 3 fights in 9 seconds.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, even by hockey standards.
Right. Well, the Kachucks are crazy people. And we have 2 of them.
Yeah, and their dad was crazy, and it's inherited.
And they played,
as you know.
And they've never gotten to play on the same team, I don't believe. In many years. So, Kachuk starts the game doing what he does, challenging Eichel. And Eichel, just who doesn't really fight, is like, you know what? I'm not going to back down.
Yeah.
And then Bennett, teammates with Matthew Kachuk, the very next puck drops the gloves with Brady. And it's just, and then
crazy.
And then Brady skates over to the box and you see him and Kachuk lock hands. Like, oh man, I'm telling you, I had high expectations for USA Canada. It blew out my expectations.
I mean, I'm going to ask you this because it was so crazy, and this is a big tournament. I mean, this is a big tournament. These teams really wanted to win. How does this rank among that game? How does that rank among your all-time live at that sporting events? Because it has to be pretty high.
That first period, I'm going to remember forever. I'm going to tell my grandkids about that first period.
Right.
Like it was easily top 10 sports moment for me. Just maybe I'm being prisoner of the moment and I'd have to really think about it, but it's like, I almost want to say top 5, but I'm going to have some perspective and I'm not going to do that. But it was just, I thought it was going to be bleeping awesome. And it was like 3 times as awesome as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I'm going to predict that that's top 5 for you, unless it is supplanted because the same 2 teams play again in the championship game Thursday, which could happen. Right.
No, I know. And while we're in it, we're like, this isn't actually that important. Both these teams can lose and still make it.
Right.
So but regardless, the way that it started with the fights, the crowd losing its mind when McDavid gets that first goal.
Right.
Like one of the loudest arenas I've ever been in. Like that was that was a whole shit. And then we tie it up, and it's just, oh, what a period. That first period, I'm telling you, I've never really been at a sporting event where both fan bases are walking out of that first period just literally being like, how about that? Like,
I know, right?
How bleeping cool was that? Like, it was just consensus by everyone. Like, holy shit, what we just saw was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even want to bring up my complaint about they should ban fighting in hockey because, I'm going to give it a pass. It was great.
Yeah, I was going to say, you believe that after that?
I don't know, because the fans love it too much. You can't quit on that. Now, before we move away, how were the fans? Because when we talked to you earlier in the episode, you were talking about how Canadian fans seem to hate U.S. fans now for partly political reasons. What was the crowd like for USA Canada?
It was, as a group, they boo. They're very nice individually. Like zero Canadians came up to us in our face and was like, "Hey, America sucks. What the hell are you guys doing?" It was just when the anthem played, they booed. All the interactions I had with Canadians, very nice, but it felt hostile when it was like anytime we would chant USA, instant boos. I don't know how much of that is politics. It felt maybe I'm just, maybe I don't know. It felt like it was political.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I was so, having been at the game at 1:00 and then the USA game at 8, the boys had gotten after it by late in this USA game.
You think?
I'm not gonna lie. When you get booed for 3 straight days, you become a Trump supporter, even if you're not.
A jingoist.
Did me and my group potentially at one point chant 51st state?
Oh no.
And did a couple Canadians maybe take it a little too serious, and we had to be like, listen, we're bleeping around, all right? Let us have this moment.
That's hilarious. I don't know what is, and I'm not getting into politics here, but among all the ridiculous things Trump has said in his first month in office,
no, that's why. I mean, that's why we're doing it. We're doing it because of what a ridiculous thing is for Trump, but us being drunk idiots just trying to be funny. A couple Canadians were like, "Hey, guys, seriously, don't chant that."
Yeah,
where we had to literally be like, "Okay, fine, we're just kidding."
That's hilarious. That is funny.
I think one of our guys did be like, "Okay, you can boo our national anthem, but now this offends you." Okay, good to know.
Okay.
Once again, see how I sound? I sound like a Trump supporter. I'm not it was just, it was such a content. There were moments where you felt like your back was up against the wall for you. So you get defensive, even though I'm not necessarily a Trump supporter, but it's just, you're in that setting and all of a sudden I'm chanting 51st state. I don't know what happened.
And on the top 3 of ridiculous Trump statements in his first month in office, number 3 is Gulf of America instead of Mexico. Number 2 is buying Greenland. And number 1 is making gigantic Canada the 51st state. It's so ridiculous. It's hilarious.
I'm going to buy Greenland and call it Trumpland.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But I want to move off hockey. I want to talk to you about one more thing, because as soon as we hang up, I'm making an early Sunday dinner. Because your mother and I'm not blaming it on her, we want to watch not only the SNL 50th anniversary tonight, Sunday night, but we want to watch the red carpet. Okay? And I want to ask you a question, because 50th anniversary, you have to be in your 60s to really consider Saturday Night Live a part of your growth, a part of your upbringing. And somebody like you, what is your relationship with SNL? Because I think by the time you were old enough to really watch late night TV, if you did at all, it was already sort of in a has-been stage. What's your relationship with SNL?
I think it's fine. I'm a fan of comedy, so I appreciate good sketches. I don't watch it religiously. If it's a host I'm interested in, I see the monologues on social media.
Right.
I am very interested as well in watching this, because the 40th was great. I remember. So
Yeah.
I'm interested in it. I know that's not very like I wouldn't go much further than that. It's not
Okay.
But like I think everyone has like the take of it was the best when I was in my 20s. Like everybody thinks SNL, like I would say the Will Ferrell, era is so that's when I was in my 20s. You would probably say, Belushi and Chevy Chase, which was probably when you were in your 20s. So,
yes, exactly. Exactly. Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and Chevy Chase.
Right. And I'm not disagreeing.
And
Look,
Jane Curtin. I mean,
look, I think those were both great eras. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that, Will Ferrell's era was better, but that's just for me. I connected with those Will Ferrell.
Yeah, no. And I love Will Ferrell, but you got to understand. And I know we have a younger demographic among our listeners, and a lot of people hear me as like their dad or even their grandfather or their crazy, weird uncle. But when SNL began, and it was sort of revolutionary, because it wasn't Johnny Carson. It was like comedy. It was like fun. It was like music. It was irreverent. I'm like 18, 20, 22 years old, just going out of high school, experiencing college. That's when everything happened for me with SNL. And it's literally been the soundtrack of my life, the laugh track of my life. And so I've really appreciated it. It's had ups and downs. No, don't get me wrong. It's had ups and downs.
You just made it seem like you are a big SNL fan. And I just have never in my 37 years of life seen you be like, hey, gotta get home tonight. I want to watch, like, maybe when Elton John's performing. Like, I just think this was a fine topic to bring up, but don't like take it to like you are this connoisseur of SNL.
Okay. I think you caught me a little bit on that. I don't watch every single week.
You don't watch any week.
No, that's not true.
You might, like me, see clips online, watch a monologue here.
Yeah. Or watch the replay after the fact. Yeah, I admit
this is a classic. You're having a Stugatz moment here where you're just you're getting hyperbolic, and all of a sudden you're this like, I have watched almost every, like, good God, have you not watched almost every episode?
No, I have not. I never said I watched every episode, but
who are the weekend update hosts currently?
I have no idea.
I mean, this is like, is I just caught, like, if you can't just say that it's Michael Che and Colin Jost, like, I'm not an SNL guy.
I knew that. I'm
not an SNL guy, but it's just like, that is just common knowledge. So it's like,
I just forgot their names.
You just represented yourself as an SNL, like, connoisseur. Like, as if you're like tasting a glass of wine, like a bottle of wine, and they're pouring in a little SNL, and you're the one that gives it a taste. Like, this is good SNL. This is good.
I don't think I've represented myself as a connoisseur. I think I've represented myself as a longtime appreciator.
I mean, Colin Jost, Michael Che, that was epic.
Okay. Yeah, they're pretty good. And by the way, I don't watch SNL live unless the host or the musical guest I really love.
I want to keep playing this game. Who's the main executive producer, decision maker for SNL?
Lorne Michaels.
Okay. I mean, if you didn't know that, I was just going to end the episode right now.
Okay.
Which we can do anyways, I think. What time is it?
Yeah, let's do that on that note. I never tell you that I appreciate you being on the episode because it's sort of your job and you're paid for it. But in this case, I really do, because you've had a long weekend.
I'm exhausted.
You've had a long day of travel. This is the last thing you want to do, but no, I appreciate it. Thank you, son.
I was supposed to fly back Sunday afternoon at 1:45 p.m., but there was a big snowstorm coming into Montreal, like in the afternoon on Sunday. So all of us, some of us had early flights, but most didn't. So the rest of us had to bump up our flights, spend a bunch of extra money to get out of there at 7 a.m. And one of our other buddies had a 6:30 flight, so we like rode together. So I had to get there like even earlier than I needed to, just to like for the 6:30 flight guy. And so I'm like at the airport at like 4.
Wow.
Like, we were out till like, celebrating USA Canada. Like, I got like zero sleep. You can hear it in my voice.
Imagine. Yeah. I am impressed you made that flight. Seriously.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
It was a sunglasses on kind of flight.
I can only imagine. Well, thank you again, kid. I appreciate it. And let's wrap up this episode. Let's just say the usual. thank you for our listeners, and I never take you for granted, meaning not you, Christopher. I don't take you for granted either, but our listeners. Never take you for granted. Thank you very much. Love you all. And you know what? We're going to see you next week. Got an extra special episode coming up next week. Extra special. Okay?
I don't think it's not actually special.
Yeah,
it's going to be a pretty standard episode, I'd say, next week.
It could be, but it could be extra special if I pull something out my ass.
That would make it more special.
Damn right it would. Good night, everyone.
One of my friends almost stole a steak knife from a restaurant.
What do you mean?
He was walking out with a steak knife because he thought it'd be funny until me and another kid were like, hey, you probably shouldn't be walking around with a steak knife in your pocket.
No.
Because we're about to go bar hopping. I don't think a steak knife is a good thing to be leaving. He's like, isn't that hilarious? And I was like,
no. You know what's hilarious? A spoon. Okay? Do a spoon. Steak knife? No. Spoon? Funny.
The irony is me and that guy that stole the knife spooned later that night.
Whoa! Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yo!
All right. Hey, 3.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. Out my ass.
Can we end this episode?
Yes, please. You got the button. You get your hand on the button.
The never-ending episode.
Thank you. Good night.